Well, welcome back, fellow travelers of the mind. For those who have followed the first episode, it was so abruptly interrupted by a certain cat named Wiggins. Be reassured that he's still alive. Today, I wanted to talk to you about the DSM. I said I would. I think it's the best thing to do is to kind of start with it. The DSM is the reference in North America for diagnosis of the personality disorders, including the schizoid one, but not only this one, all of them. It's a peculiar book. My personal take on it is that it's really lacking scientific rigor. It seems I'm not the only one to think that, including amongst professional. But it is what it is, and it is the reference. So anyway, you cannot have a diagnosis without going through it. In Europe, there is an alternative, which is the ECD 11, I think now, but it got pretty much the same problem as DSM. It's loosely based on it anyway. It's a little bit more regular, but it has the same loopholes. So what I propose to do today, I'm gonna go with you through the criteria of the DSM-5 TR edition, which is the last edition as I speak. I have myself been diagnosed many years ago, so it was the DSM-4 and the regular one at the time. Maybe a few things have changed since then. I must say that I'm not reading the DSM every day and not even for every version, so I am not familiar with the version 5 TR. So we'll see. I have it here with me, so I'm just going to paraphrase it. Again, it's what's used for professional to diagnose a schizoid personality at the disorder level. You could have, this is important. Let's take a bit of time on that. You could have a schizoid personality, which will be your core functioning, your cognitive functions, and there's nothing wrong about it. What the DSM states is to identify, to diagnose, when it becomes on a disorder level, which is kind of more problematic for your day-to-day life. So even if you find yourself having a few of those, it's okay. It might just mean that you're a little bit introvert, might just mean that you're a little bit schizoid, but not necessarily on a disorder level of it. Believe me, not a lot of people are on a disorder level. It's not a fun place to be. So for DSM-5 TR, there is seven things that they're looking for, and in order to be diagnosed as a full-blown disorder, schizoid personality disorder, you have to fit neatly at least 4 of those 7 elements. So let's go through the elements one by one, and what I'm going to add, of course, is my personal experience and give you what I think of each of them and where I stand on each of them. The first one is having a limited or no enjoyment in close relationships, including with family. Honestly, in my case, we can check that, of course. Spoiler alert, I do check the 7 one, so it's gonna be a check every time. But limited is not even enough in my case. It's extremely limited. I don't like close relationship. The only one I can actually support are the family one, and I have an extremely small family, which is perfectly fine for me. I am married, actually. It's worth saying, because not all schizoid are or can be. I have a wife, I have a daughter, and I have my mother. So I'm basically the only guy in the family. Jesus. Yeah, I do have that's why all the animals are male. I got 3 dogs and 1 cat, and 4 of them are male. We're trying to, put some kind of equilibrium in the family there. So yeah, in my case, we can check that one. That's 1 out of 7, and we can say that for me it's extremely limited. The enjoyment of the relationships. I don't know if it needs explaining, because I'm guessing people that are not schizoid might not understand. It doesn't mean I don't love people. It doesn't mean I don't love my family. It's completely different things. It just means that I do not enjoy being too close to them. How can I put it this way? I need some distance with people, including the people I love. It doesn't mean I don't love them. It means I don't need to be close to them to love them. It's not a problem for me. That's what it means. And that's very, very true. The second one is nearly always chooses solitary activities. We can again check that mark for myself, and we can remove the nearly and just skip directly to the always choose solitary activities. Basically, I have never played any kind of team sport. Believe me, school teachers tried to make me do so, and they realized they should just let me run my laps around the field instead of being in the middle of the field rather quickly. So no, there is no group activity of any kind in my life. I'm a computer guy. I'm smiling because I'm guessing the professionals that are listening to that are just now face-palming themselves, saying, of course, yes, I am that caricature. I am the IT guy. I've been for over 30 years, and I was a geek before that. Before it was my profession, it was also my passion. It's very common for schizoid. We'll dig into it maybe later, but it's a common thread for schizoid to go towards IT or engineering or mechanical things. I am definitely one of those. So computer, even in my gaming, I prefer solo gaming. I have played a lot of World of Warcraft, and I was the guy trying to solo World of Warcraft. I was that guy. and then I decided just to stick to solo gaming. I read, I do gardening, I do a lot of stuff, but I do a lot of stuff that I can do alone. Third is minimal interest in sexual experiences with others. Yes, we can check that. There's no shame about it. That's not what interests me the most. Again, like for the first one, I have to put some grain of salt in that. There is little interest in the sexual experiences, but can you define experiences? I mean, not to be gauche, but I am right-handed and I know how to use my hand, if you know what I mean. What I don't necessarily like, again, is the proximity of others. So it goes to there too. Yeah, say that to my wife. But we still managed to have a daughter, so I'm guessing I know how it works. But yeah, the experiences, I have some for sure, but not necessarily need to be that close. The problem with this, it's not the sexual act itself, it's the, how can I put it, it's the social act going with it, the emotional investment going with it. That's kind of a problem for me. I can be pretty cold when I'm doing it. I know how to do it, but I'm guessing yes, I can be pretty cold when I'm doing it. So it's a big yes anyway. Fourth one, finds pleasure in a few activities. This one, I think we can check it, but it's very broad. It's really lacking some details. Define pleasure. We don't necessarily all like the same things. And define activities. I mean, activities is very, very wide open. I do love learning things, and learning things could be very extensive activity, because it could be psychology, it could be computer, it could be reading, it could be science, it could be astronomy or whatever. So it's all different activities, but if we resume it to the activity of learning, then yes, it's only one activity. So there are a few things I like, but I understand where the question is going, and yes, there is a narrow window in that sense that I like to learn, but I'm not necessarily actively looking for new activities, which is kind of different. There's many things to be learned from the old stuff. You don't necessarily need to jump on the new ones. And when I will master everything old, then I'll check what's going on with the new. Says the IT guy who's changing his OS every 3 months. It's very paradoxal ways of living and being a schizoid, let me tell you that. And that is written nowhere, but it is very paradoxal. Actually, since we're on that subject, so keep in mind we were the fourth one. Because I don't see that anywhere in any literature, and certainly not in the DSM. And I think it's a big thing for schizoid, at least for me. But I'm guessing it's schizoid in general. We do live very paradoxal lives, plural again, because I really think we have many lives inside our head, and they are very paradoxal because what we project is almost the opposite of what we feel, and that's why in the DSM you have things like minimal interest, lack of empathy. It's after, but we're gonna see it. Coldness, lack of empathy, things like that. Yeah, sure, that's what we project. That is absolutely not what we're living inside, and I think that's also why I'm doing that channel, because I'm rather a little bit pissed to hear about the schizoid, that emotionless jackass. Yes, I'm a jackass, but I'm really not emotionless. Believe me on that. Anyway, back to the fifth one. So again, I repeat, you need to have 4 out of those 7s to be fully diagnosed as a schizoid personality disorder. And we're now tackling the fifth one, which is limited close friendship or relationship other than first-degree relatives. Well, limited is such a nice word. In my case, we can check that one for me, obviously. I have 0 friend. I have 0 relationship. Well, can we consider work people as a relationship? I don't. I'm sorry, I'm going to be blunt. They're just tool for me. If they were hearing that, they absolutely adore me, but they have no idea that for me they're just tool. That's the reality. I don't consider them as a relationship anyway. Other than first-degree relative, when obviously, like I said, I do have a small core family, and that's pretty much the only thing that matters for me. Well, you have to understand that in that core family, I do include my animals. So yeah, it's not just the humans. And actually, it's interesting. It just occurred to me when I was talking to you guys and girls. Yeah, what I consider my family, including with family or first-degree relatives, it's not just my mom, my wife, and my daughter. I mean, my cat and my 3 dogs are definitively first relatives to me. They are just much more important than my work colleagues, for example, for sure. Anyway, so that was the fifth. The sixth one, indifference to praise or criticism. I am not sure that I can convey enough how much I fudging don't care what people think about myself. But that will not help you other than just checking that 6th mark for me. My take on that is that it is of no consequences. It has no importance. It does not matter, because the only thing that matters is what I think of myself. It's very egocentrical. I don't know if it's a word in English, actually. You tell me. But it's it's how I feel it in any case. I I I can't relate on what people are thinking of me, and it's mostly probably because I have learned for many years that they have no idea what they have in front of them anyway. So they can tell me what they think I did good or bad. The thing is, guys, you have no idea how I think, you have no idea who I am, you have no idea what I do. So what you think of me is really inconsequential, really. That's the one thing. That's more experience talking. But other than that, my own criteria on myself are so much harder than anything you could pull out. I am never satisfied with myself. It's probably the depressive side of things, actually, that doesn't help. But it's true. I'm extremely hard with myself, and praise and criticism. I usually can do that by myself. I really don't need other people to do it. In any case, you can be harder than I am. You certainly can be gentler than I will ever be. I have an anecdote about that, actually. 2013, I wrote a book. It's in French. I got a prize. For me, really didn't even register. I wrote a book. It's published. I got a prize. It's not like I find it normal. It's just, yeah, sure, I wrote a book, so it had to go somewhere. It did that road. Okay, it did that road, fine. My wife and evening told me, I'm very proud of you. And honest to God, my answer was, of what? I just wrote a book. That's all I did. For me, it wasn't that important. It probably just was something I needed to do, actually. But to tell you that, yeah, it didn't even occur to me that it was something to be proud of. So my wife had to tell me. That's why she's there, actually, amongst other things. But I love her for that. The seventh thing displays emotional coldness, detachment, and affective flattening. We can definitively we can definitively checkmark this one for me. So, as I said, that's 7 out of 7. So, my diagnosis wasn't that difficult to do. What can I say on that I haven't already marginally talked about on the others? It's the same thing. It's the way we are seen by other people. The emotional coldness, I understand it. I understand that's what you see. I understand that's what a professional will see on the surface. But it is really not what's happening in there. And it's very odd to be diagnosed for lack of something, for something that you are not. It's very weird. So you're schizoid because you don't have any emotions. Are you kidding or what? I'm a bolt of emotion, man. I'm dying from emotion. It's so fucking hurtful inside my chest that I can die from it. And you're telling me that I am a schizoid because I don't have emotion? Yes, that's pretty much my take on the thing. Emotion is a very delicate subject. Like I just said, the relation with emotion, at least for me, I don't want to generalize for all schizoid, though I read enough to understand that it is pretty much core to schizoid. It may be not the same roots for everyone, but it's pretty much core that schizoid do have emotion, probably too much. My take, and I take again, I'm going to speak only for myself. Now, I am an hypersensitive guy. Truly am, in the truest sense of it. Like I just said, emotion for me hurt. That's the deep truth about it, the sad truth about it, because that is why I distance myself from people. That is why I don't go in deep relationship, because that leads to emotion. At one point or another, you're gonna love or you're gonna hate, and it's fucking hurtful. And it's human behavior. I am protecting myself because I don't want to go there. I don't want to feel that. I know it's gonna be pain, and hence the schizoid in there. And in my case, to the disorder level, because as we can see, 7 out of 7 is it's a good fit. We can say that it's a good fit. Well, there is 2 other things about it. For this diagnosis, you need to have at least 4 of those 7, but it's not enough. It's not enough. There is a couple of rules more than that, and which is that all those symptoms do not occur during an episode of schizophrenia. Obviously, if you have schizophrenia or you are bipolar or you have a bipolar disorder or depressive episode, which could be my case, this will not fit because most of them could be due to the depression or due to the bipolar disorder, which, if you don't know bipolar, it's mainly, roughly, sorry for the professional out there, it's basically half depression and half non-depression. So it's a way to say that if you are in a psychosis state, you're not yourself schizophrenia, or you're in deep depression and bipolar do have deep depression episode, then you cannot really take those criteria as they are, because they might actually coming from the depression itself. And the other thing is you should not be on the autism spectrum. Also, if you are on the autism spectrum, well, obviously you are on the autism spectrum, and let's diagnose the autism spectrum before getting to know if you have a schizoid personality disorder or not. So those are the 7 criteria. Sorry, always mix the singular and plural for those. With the two subtlety behind that. In my case, since I do have depressive episodes, one could wonder if I was diagnosed at the moment when I was actually in deep severe depression or not. Well, no, because I've been like that for 40 years, and hopefully for myself, I haven't been severely depressed for 40 years. I don't think you can do that. That will be a very long time to be severely depressed. I'm not talking about losing your friend or your girlfriend here. I'm really talking about deep depression. So no, longest episode of depression that I had was 3-4 years. It's already awful enough. No, this diagnosis came before, way before actually. But let's subject for another one, because I have a theory on why I have the depression side. And I think it's tied to the schizoid behavior and some of my defense mechanism. But for today, we were just supposed to talk about the DSM criteria, and we did. So you have the 7, you have my take on it, and you have my 7 check mark on it. On this, I want to tell you, well, see you next time.